I'm going to go ahead and give my creature +2/+2 and horsemanship. Until end of turn, right? Until end of turn, right? Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for a vintage video. And today we are going to be riding the Dilu Horse, courtesy of Toasty. So, when I first got this deck list, I sat there, looked at the screen, and went, why are we not just playing a giant growth effect? And then it hit me. There are some words missing on this card that your brain probably filled in automatically, because mine sure did. This is target creature gets +2/+2 and gains horsemanship. Period. This is a permanent effect, which is weird. So, horsemanship, for all intents and purposes here, means that our creature is going to be unblockable. There's some other text there, but realistically, no one else is playing Riding the Dilu Horse. That's just me. I'm the only one crazy enough to do that. So, here's the game plan. Here's the combo in the loosest sense of the word. We would ideally like to play a Dreadhorde Arcanist on turn 1. Then on turn 2, we're going to ride the Dilu Horse, and we're going to grow our Dreadhorde Arcanist. Then we're going to attack, we're going to flashback that Dilu Horse. Our Dreadhorde Arcanist now permanently has +4/+4 and is effectively unblockable. If you start throwing in a Time Walk effect in there and then flashback that Time Walk, your opponent is dead very quickly. Now, this is the goal, this is the dream here, and we'll see whether or not we can actually ride our little pony to victory or not. Let's take a look at the full deck list here. So here's what we're working with. Essentially, we are a, I guess, rug aggro deck. Is kind of a weird way to phrase it. But we are looking to play one of either Ragavan or Dreadhorde Arcanist and make it unblockable forever with our horsey. And then we are going to ride either this card advantage or this card advantage to victory. And we're going to do this while hopefully drawing an absurd number of cards with some restricted spells, or maybe something that might end up getting restricted in Vintage. I don't know if we have any commons on the restricted list, but this card, from my outsider perspective, is seeming pretty absurd in Vintage deck lists. I'm more or less playing Toasty's deck list as it was submitted. They submitted 61 with 2 copies of Minsc and Boo in the main deck, so I just cut one of those to get it back down to 60. And I adjusted the sideboard to look more like a vintage sideboard. Like, there's just certain effects that you really need in Vintage. You need the ability to keep the graveyard decks in check. You need the ability to put the aggro decks, the artifact decks in their place. And then you need a little bit of flexibility. A lot of times vintage decks are kind of pre-boarded versus blue effects because you just have a lot of counterspells and card draw in the main. And we'll see how this plays out. Questing Druid conceptually with all of Vintage's card draw could be pretty absurd. Still forming my opinions of that card within the context of Legacy. I'm not overly impressed by it, but I don't necessarily think it's terrible either. So yeah, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and hop into the league here. If you end up wanting to mess around with this deck, check out moxfield.com. I've got the link to the deck list in my video description. And if you need to pick up any of these cards, check out Cool Stuff Inc. and use promo code ThrabenU to save 5% on your order. Let's battle. Our opponent has revealed a Luris Companion here. I don't know that I'm excited about this deck list. I don't have anything to pair with the Force of Will. I can play this on turn 2. I'm not really feeding anything into it immediately. I think I'm just going to ship this. Like, I think a Ragavan hand is better than this. How many red sources are in this deck? Huh? How many red sources? How bad is this? 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12... kind of 13. Counting cantrips as redraws, counting Lorien Revealed as a hit. This is a lot of hits. I'm going to keep this. I think pitching Mox. Maybe I pitch the Force of Will. Maybe I pitch the Force of Will after the mulligan. Go ahead and minimize that Lurrus. Sure. Oh, it's an honest to goodness Bob. You got it. Another red card. What I'm looking to see here. Revealed Zone. Misstep, Force of Negation, Urza's Saga. Okay. So let's Sapphire. We're looking for red mana here. Oh god. Bottom both. Okay, yes. So I'll play Emerald. I will play Lotus. This is 4 mana, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. My misstep, or that misstep is probably going to hit this Ragavan. I think that's okay. So we will Dreadhorde Arcanist. Do I cast this rather than dash it? I don't know that it strongly matters. I think it gets countered either way. I'm gonna dash. All right, there is the misstep. This Wasteland is probably for Urza Saga rather than for Underground Sea. I'm gonna go ahead and play it out and pass the turn. And we'll kind of see what happens with Bob here. Orcish Bowmasters. Good card is good. All right, and we're just gonna nuke that now before it gets the mana ability. So the Dreadhorde Arcanist situation is a little awkward right now due to that Orcish Bowmasters. I'm gonna have to Force a Will that. But my opponent's last card isn't a blue card. All right, here we go. Do Preordain. Cast it. There's Bowboy. We will attempt Force of Will. And is the last card a blue card? Fuck, the last card is a Lorien Revealed. And this is now a disaster, because my opponent can ping Dreadhorde Arcanist, which is happening, make their thing. Oh, Lightning Bolt is so close to what I want. This is not castable off my current mana situation. We'll bottom that. Another red card. Existence is pain. I get pinged. My opponent now can block with this creature. The Arcanist dies. My opponent has 3 bodies on board. I've got nothing left. They've got a Lurrus coming. Life's bad. Life's really bad. I'm at 11. I'm dead in 2 more of these. Sure. That's another Dark Confidant. Maybe my opponent will kill themselves with Dark Confidant triggers. Like, Lorien Revealed is the thing. Grab a red source. Are we dashing? I don't think so. I think this is a sad blocker. All right, Underground Sea. Bobble. Damn. We did not live the dream of my opponent just doming themselves. It really does feel like that's my out here. My opponent just dealing 10 to themselves. I don't know, maybe if that's... No, there was a Dark Confidant held back last turn that my opponent could have blocked with. And I really don't like being on the wrong side of Bowmasters here. It messing with Ragavan and the giant pile of cantrips that I have is rough. All right, let's reserve as much of the life total as I can here. Is Lurrus to hand? Is Lurrus to hand? Ooh. So, in case you are a newer viewer and you weren't around when this thing was ravaging formats, you get to, once during each one of your turns, cast a permanent spell with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard, and that means that Black Lotus and Bobble and such could come back every turn. You are just a touch late. If I had saved the Ragavan, I could attack for 4, put my opponent to 10, and then double Lorien Revealed as their top 2 cards could have been an out. But that doesn't seem super likely. The extra Lightning Bolt for Bobs and Lurrus sound good. These start as X1s, which is not great. I don't know how much I'm supposed to 2-for-1 myself with counter spells when I can Play things that look like this instead. Force of Willing Bowmasters seems important, and none of these cards hit Bowmasters. Maybe I don't board all that heavily. I could see making some adjustments, like the Flusterstorm is more likely to hit removal than the Misstep is. And I can just gain a little bit of flexibility here. Please don't take my vintage sideboarding with this deck as gospel. Yeah, I don't mind this at all. This is a keep. Playing Questing Druid out on 1 is a little awkward if my opponent has like Mox and Bowmasters. But otherwise is pretty solid, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. Go Trop, Ruby, and I think my goal is to just throw down the threat here, rather than try to maximize the value of this spell. Sure. Because I am very much viewing myself in the beatdown role here. Ragavan. Yeah, okay. So let's dash. We'll send in for 4 points of damage. Oh. Dismember Ragavan. I would normally snap off this Force of Will in a heartbeat, but this is pitching the Time Walk. I maybe still do it anyway. It's awkward, but this is an incredibly fast clock. And I think I need the Ragavan for a source of card advantage. There's Force of Negation pitching Lorien revealed. My Ragavan's dead. The next question is, do I want to Lightning Bolt my opponent's face? I don't think so. This is just 3 damage. I'm basically out of gas here in a way that I'm not very comfortable with. Sure. Alright. I was holding up Lightning Bolt for the possibility of removing something like a Bob or Bowmasters that my opponent played out. Alright, my opponent sat there and thought about something for a minute. I'm not sure what that was. Don't mind that. So here's my source of card advantage that I've been hoping for. Although, honestly, right now it is just a Lightning Bolt. Alright, we're in play. Now the question is, like, do I just fire off this Lightning Bolt immediately? It's worth 4 damage to face. Fatal Push. Rough. Okay. Alright. I assume this is going to be something like a Lotus or Soul Ring. Could be wrong. It's a jet. And then Lurrus went to hand, sure. So I think I'm just going face here. An awkward pickup on exactly the amount of mana that I am currently on. Alright. Pick up another green source. Drop that into play. Attack for 1. We're not going to cast the bolt. We're just going to leave that there to pick off the Lurrus if Lurrus gets played this turn. A Demonic Tutor. Sure. So for Lotus into Lurrus. Seems good. Then Lurrus can replay the Lotus. Yep. Aether Spellbomb. Time Walk. Fuck. Yeah. So this is like not only worth another Black Lotus, it's also worth 3 points of life and like comfortably bouncing my creature. This game feels very over. Oh, there's an Ancestral as well. Well, I mean, we're gonna try. Send them. Cast. Target Lurrus. Everything works. I'm a happy boy. Nope. All right. I lose Dreadhorde Arcanist in combat. And I think we're just done from here. GG. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. Just the best place to host your deck lists online, just full period. It is. And I can say lots of nice things about them, or I can just show you that I have 328 deck lists on this site, and I think that's about the best endorsement that I can give them. Please don't counter my Black Lotus. It is quite important. We're just going to cast this, and then play this out, and play the Strip Mine. I could have dashed the Ragavan this turn, but I wanted to commit the single Ragavan mana first? Okay, well, I've got an answer to that. Anyway, I wanted to commit Ragavan to the board to make sure that it resolved. And if it gets countered, I play the second Ragavan, which is why I took the line that I took. Stinkweed Imp, Bridge, Hollow One is good. Sure. Awkward. Because if I Island Cycle that, I don't Strip Mine. And I really need to Strip Mine. I feel like my deck is not doing a very good job at vintaging. Technical term, but... yeah... I think we lost game 1 here. Okay. Double Bridge from below in yard. Dredge Infinity is about to happen. Oh. It did not immediately replay Bazaar? Oh, they fucked up. Okay. So they put Bazaar on top with Noxious Revival. And then they dredged over it. So I guess we got lucky there. But my cards sure aren't doing anything. Like, this 4/4 just invalidated both of my cards at once. Narcomoeba is not immediately scary, but it's bad. Something's happening. Something's not happening. Cool. I wonder if this deck actually has enough starting mana sources in it. Yeah, we're just gonna stare at each other. And this is not favoring me. This is, like, very much not favoring me. Like, Ragavan and Lorien Revealed are definitely counted in terms of, like, this deck's mana base functioning, and my Ragavan is currently off, and my Lorien Revealeds are currently off. Bad combo. Alright. So I'm fetching. I think I always want green. I, like, non-ironically want Riding the Dilu Horse to happen. So I'll Island Cycle at my opponent's end of turn. Alright, there's a Cabal Therapy. This is where things start getting a little wonky. Yeah. Just gonna Island Cycle in response, so my opponent doesn't randomly name Lorien Revealed. I'll pick up a Volcanic Island. Opponent gets a bunch of zombies. And I think I just let that resolve. Oh, they hit Time Walk. Unfortunate, that was very important to my plan. That was supposed to be my bridge to get to this third mana. We can, I guess, spike a Mox or something. Opponent's on 8 cards, so now they can just discard a Dredger again to reuse. Or a Cabal Therapy, that's quite bad. Alright. Let's find something. Oko feels too slow against board here. Third land is, I guess, cool. I think I'm just going to shuffle this and try to hit something better. Fail. We'll preordain. Bottom Lightning Bolt. Top Sapphire. Cast Sapphire. And next turn, I can attempt to do something kind of cool. Like, I have something very close to a combo kill next turn. I play Riding the Dilu Horse on Dreadhorde Arcanist. And then I get to get Time Walk back. And then I can play Riding the Dilu Horse 2 more times. This is gross. My opponent probably names Force of Will, but if they name this, it's like super bad for me, so I guess I Force of Will this. But everything feels awful. I also think my opponent should have been attacking me for quite some time. Like, once you have this many zombies, like, you're pretty safe from normal attacks, especially with, like, 6 zombies back. Wasteland. Sure. Play it. I will ride the horse. We have gained horsemanship, so we are unblockable. Chip in. Target Time Walk. Get a Time Walk. This is unfortunately only worth 3 damage right now. Opponent's at 15. So I can cast Dilu Horse 2 more times. I don't really know how I win. But I can take some game actions. And taking game actions is cool. Let's ride the horse. This is now a 5 power creature. I'll bash in with it. As it's a 5 power creature, I can now cast Lorien Revealed without paying its mana cost. Alright. That didn't get me to anywhere broken. Opponent's at 10. Make this, what, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 22. That's a lot. Fetch. Let's grab Taiga. Play another one of these bad boys that absorbs some damage. And see what happens. Okay. So what if I Ragavan block here? That's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 14 damage. That's not lethal. My goal is to then dash in a new Ragavan, ride the horse on it. That's 9 of my 10 damage, and then I find like a lightning bolt and kill my opponent somehow. I guess by similar logic, I can just block with the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Because this extra body's not going through anyway. I guess this is fine. I'm going to play around some weird contagion style shit and not take the free block. Alright. I'll go to 3. I lose a creature. I take out the bridges. And my opponent will move to discard. So, I'm thinking about whether or not, like, just casting 3 or drawing 3 with Lorien Revealed is going to be better in any capacity. I think the answer is no. I think I have to find Lightning Bolt. So, dash Ragavan. Go to combat. Send everybody in. This guy targets Riding the Dilu Horse. This guy targets Ponder. For 4 looks at Lightning Bolt. Cast. Nope to that. Any order. Shuffle. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Cast the horse on Ragavan. So this is 9 of the required damage. Putting my opponent to 1. I get a treasure token. There is a grief. Don't have the mana required for that. I will cast a Minskin with Force of Will backup. Oh yeah. Yes. Now I will sacrifice a creature and deal X damage to any target where X is the sacrificed creature's power. Your face. We did it. We rode the goddamn horse. The video is a success. Everybody clap. I don't think we should have won that game, though. I think if my opponent pressures my life total anymore, I'm just always dead. Okay, I like Leyline of the Void, I like Tabernacle, and I probably want some amount of additional respect for Hollow One in some capacity. I don't think I need Misstep. It's kind of cute for Noxious Revival. I don't think I need Probe. Lightning Bolt is a card that can finish off my opponent if we get into a weird spot like what we just got into that game. Force of Negation's timing is a little awkward. I can probably go down on Bolt. Minskin Boo's weird. I think I want these. I wonder if I end up going down some amount of my restricted cards because Lorien Revealed just serves as a more flexible card. I think the flexibility matters a lot here. This could be 60, keeping the Minskin Boo. This can technically answer Bridge from Belows by Legend Ruling Your Own Hamster. I'm then not sure about this stuff. I think I want to play a Dismember. Maybe over one more Lightning Bolt here. I will definitely keep this hand. We get to shut off the graveyard while also having a Tabernacle that can kill something like Hollow Ones that are played out, which is like why we've boarded this in the first place. So this is exactly what I want. We don't have red mana here for the Ragavan, which is a little unfortunate, but we have Ponder to find that red mana. All right, cool. Oh god, second Tabernacle is not what I want. Yeah, those are good cards. We're gonna hide the Ancestral on top of the library. Draw the Scalding Tarn. If my opponent has something like a Force of Vigor for Leyline of the Void immediately. No. Good news for Phil fans. All right. So you're telling me there's a chance. All right, what do they discard? Graveyard stuff is what they discarded. Ooh. Oh, come on, wasteland me. Wasteland me. Wasteland me. Damn it. So am I letting you keep that hollow one? Like, what's my plan here? Dreadhorde Arcanist is the top card of my library. So I think we just do the 10,000 IQ play of play Tabernacle, hope my opponent wastelands it, as I do have 2 of them. Nice. And I'll just cast an Ancestral at their end step and take 4 and be perfectly happy with that. I don't think I dismember, because I think I just play Tabernacle and end up killing their creature without costing myself a card. Alright. Ancestral, target moi. Force of Will, pitching a prized amalgam. All according to plan here. So, new Tabernacle, we'll get rid of Hollow One. Yes. Yes. And then, like, we have Dreadhorde into another Ancestral coming, or alternatively dash Ragavan. And I've got, you know, resources like Dismember and Tabernacle to stop Hollow One, which is the primary thing that is good against me right now. Wasteland. Sure. Opponent opting not to wasteland me now. That means that I can just play this safely on my turn. Ah, the horse, you say. We're always fetching red. Just a question of, like, which thing do I do from there? The treasure token off of this is pretty legit. But I think I'm just going to go this one. It's just really strong with Ancestral in Yard. It's a little tricky to ride the horse on it right now, but we might get there. I guess opponent could double wasteland me, take me off both my mana sources, and I lose Dreadhorde Arcanist. That would make me sad. We'll pay for our Duder. Will my opponent randomly attack me mid-combat? Or, sorry, wasteland me mid-combat? I hope not. But I'd like some flexibility here. And, target Ancestral. Ancestral target me. Ooh, Lotus is great here. Alright, opponent's at 18. I have a new land drop. I have a Lotus. Playing Oko is really weird here, because then I drop Force of Will, which I don't want to do. So this is a rarity. This is the Black Lotus 4 green. Ride the Dilu Horse. And then we will go ahead and just cast a Ragavan. I can comfortably play for both of my spells. And then I can make the Ragavan unblockable next turn by riding the horse. Sure. All right. Not great cards in exile over there. I'll pay for both my spells. Sure. And target the horse. We'll put Ragavan on the horse. Now both of these are just unblockable. Hollow One. I don't think I care about that. And I don't think I play another creature into, like, Wasteland. Got a 2-turn unblockable clock backed by Force of Will. My opponent's on 2 cards. I feel pretty good about the situation. Sure. Quick check-in. Yep. We'll pay for both. Force of Vigor on Leyline and Treasure Token. This is really bad timing to do that, because I can now sack the treasure to pay for this, but I will probably just Force of Will and keep the Leyline in play. Like, I just have my opponent dead. Yep. We rode the horse. All right, we have 3 mana sources here, but 2 of them being colorless means that I don't Oko, and this hand is just very slow to start with, so I think we're going to ship this. Hand has Ancestral and the ability to protect it. We're going to keep this, and I'm throwing back one of these 2 cards. Probably the horse in a vacuum. Yeah, that's fine. Found hollow one. There's a bazaar. And force a hollow one. Same as forcing the once upon a time. Although I guess if they had been looking for bazaar, I should have just forced the once. Root Walla. Yeah, you got it. Yep. That. I'm gonna go ahead and no, sir. Ooh. Oh god, please not another one. Okay, cool. I got worried for a second there. So let's start here. This can get a trop. Going to Ancestral, target myself. Okay, those are cards that are in my deck. I'll be passing the turn here. My intention currently is to Lightning Bolt this Root Walla after my opponent pumps it with Mox Ruby. We'll see if things change, but that's the surface level plan. I don't think I like my game one versus this deck. Okay, that's scary. Excuse me? Fucking Hex Drinker? Yeah, my plan's changed. Yeah, you need green and black. So where is the other green or black coming from? Okay, so there's the pump. I'm going to let happen. I'm still going to bolt this. I'm going to kind of assume that my opponent is probably doing some Eternal Weekend testing and maybe doesn't know their deck well. All right, Lightning Bolt. Take out Hex Drinker in response. Do take a whopping 7 this turn, which is not great. Let's try to find something to do. No and no. Bottom both. Force of Negation is not what I want here. I am potentially just dead. Possible I had to Force of Will Hex Drinker to Lightning Bolt this. But without my own creature on board here. Yeah, my opponent just sent me a message saying, like, this is my first time trying this deck out. So that's a Root Walla, which is effectively just a 1/1, no other text right now. But I think I have to answer it. Yeah. I'm just going to Island Cycle in response, get another land out of my deck. I'm not sure what I'm looking for to win this one. Like, I take 7 here, go to 3. Questing Druid will not do it currently. Let's shuffle. That will not do anything. I am dead. So Leylines are okay. They stop the Vengevines and the graveyard-based Hogaaks. Tabernacles are okay. Lightning Bolts and Dismembers are probably actively good. Force of Vigor can be okay for dealing with hollow ones. I think I'm going to get rid of Probe and Misstep. A lot of my opponent's things that matter are creatures. Minsk and Boo's probably expendable. Am I doing the same thing where I'm cutting these? This feels so weird. These cards are restricted and are very strong. But they eat at my graveyard for the Arcanist. And aren't early plays, which matter a lot. Okay. So in theory, I want to board in 8, though. Would need 2 more cuts from here. Am I just, like, not supposed to, like, play Force Effects in this matchup? Instead? I don't know, stopping a Hogaak can matter, and I would Force of Will a hollow one in a lot of circumstances. I kind of feel like I need these. Like, my deck is very much built around this card and its various interactions with Dreadhorde Arcanist, so I don't know that this can just go. Maybe I'll go down some forces. This is not great versus hollow one. I'm pretty good versus, like, Lizards and Vengevines. I don't really cast great things out of my opponent's deck. Let's see if we can vintage harder. This one probably vintages harder. Let's keep this, I think, pitching 1 land. We can use Preordain either to find a bridge card or then find the 3rd land so I can have both of these. I mean, this is what my deck is built to do, I guess. So we'll do it. All right, we've got third land, we've got the horse, we've got a ley line to buy time. Yep, that is happening. Opponent found Boseiju with that, which is an answer to the ley line. Sure. All right, they've got a Root Walla, and they just junked some Serum Powders. A-okay with me. So we know our draw. We know I want to Trop. And then we'll use that to cast our boy. Sure. There's green for Boseiju. So my opponent does get to Boseiju this. Yes, we'll pick up. Probably doesn't matter. Pick up Taiga for diversity. So I can't be immediately wastelanded off of any one color. Right, there's a Root Walla. Can't see. A Gaia's Cradle. Sure. So nothing that scary went to graveyard. Yeah, that definitely could have been worse for us. I am thinking about my other lines currently. I am just deciding whether or not I am riding the horse this turn. Like, I can ride the horse again. Just preordaining to find, like, removal is probably reasonable, though. And then I can play Oko, make some food, and start annoying my opponent. Let's do that. Let's just do the thing. And see what we find. Bottom that, I'll top preordain. Alright, opponent's at 19. Cast this spell, put something respectable in the graveyard for next turn. Ooh, this is great. Let's go top, cast Arcanist. I think I am taking out the Bazaar rather than the Cradle. It's not like that is just like night and day correct or anything, because like my opponent can cast Vengevines, my opponent can use this to pump their creatures. Sure. That's fine. Yeah. That was all expected. Sure. I'm going to take 4 here. Ooh, am I not going to take 4? Yeah, I'm going to take 4 here. That's what I thought. That's fine. I think I would like to ride the horse. Riding the horse might be greedy, honestly. We can ride the horse next turn. Let's just accumulate my card advantage here. So, bottom of these will preordain. Top of these will lightning bolt. We'll lightning bolt a lizard. Then we'll do some card draw. Another horse. This one goes on bottom. This one's a little sketchy, but no, it's probably just a little sketchy. Let's put it on the bottom. All right. I really right now just want cheap cantrips that I can fire off and removal. Because one copy of Riding the Dilu Horse can already make both of my creatures unblockable forever. Sure. First one's protection from instants. That's fine. All right, yeah. Neat tech. All right, I'll take my 1. I'm at 14. Ragavan. I can also just like Oko the Hex Drinker. If I don't play the horse, I don't have anything to flash back this turn. But if I do play the horse, I attack force 6. My opponent's at 11, but then I am put on a 2-turn clock. Whereas I'm otherwise on a 3-turn clock with an Oko in play, and that card's obnoxious. Alright, my opponent briefly disconnected, but is back. I think I decided that I was playing Oko. Okay, sorry, I had to step away for a minute. Alright, so turn that into an elk, and pass turn. Then we'll see whether these are going at my face or going at the Oko. They are going at the Oko. So this can just send 5 damage there. I can block and keep the Oko alive. My opponent can pump mana into this. I think I'm just going to go ahead and let Oko go. I think Oko was just a distraction to get these creatures tapped, honestly. And then I can like try to ride the horse to victory. Fuck yeah. So this is a dash Ragavan moment. Send in for 4, then the treasure token off of Ragavan will be used to cast Time Walk. Bloodghast is whatever, I don't care about that card. Time Walk. And then we're going to Time Walk again off the horse. Beautiful. Oh, the horse. The horse cometh. Nice. Alright, send him. Target time walk. Fast. Alright, opponent takes 4. We'll take our extra turn. So we will ride the horse, turning both of these into 6/6s. And then we will ride the horse 2 more times on attack triggers. Yeah, we have gotten the GG in chat here. Okay, we're going to a game 3. Sorry, I'm discombobulated. I don't really have any more removal that I can board in. My boarding feels about appropriate. X-Drinker's wild. Yeah, this is fine. Tabernacle plus Black Lotus to power up my creatures is not exactly a combo. Like, I can play Dreadhorde and Ragavan on turn 1. I don't have a single land to dismember afterwards. This is a very awkward hand. I, in fact, do believe that this is a mulligan, but it doesn't feel good. Serum Powder a hand away. Serum Powder a hand away. This is a colored spell, or I guess not a green one. I'm going to keep this. I'm not expecting my opponent to Collector Oof me. I can probably just throw back Volcanic Island? Keep all the Moxen? Question mark? Play those out faster? Sure. We've got Strip Mine for that. Ogak in yard. Opponent discarded a Strip Mine. That is a really good Magic the Gathering card. My opponent's hand must be stacked. Sure. Alright. So, I might want to Seek the Beast here. What's the timing? Until your next end step? Yeah, I think I'll Seek the Beast on my opponent's turn. Just go ahead and Strip Mine this land. I think I just need the extra cards. There's a Cradle. There's a Root Walla. Is probably eating a Lightning Bolt on my own turn. We'll see, though. Things can change. I'm at 16. Seek the Beast. Oh, wow. Hold on, am I crazy? Oh, Questing Druid is the other one. Sure. So I will go ahead and just cast this Brainstorm, put back Leyline and some other card. New Questing Druid's great. Then we'll go ahead and fetch. Green, red. This just needs to be some blue. Yep. So we will now cast the Questing Druid. Cast a Preordain. Start scaling this up so it will outscale a Hollow One. I think I just bottom both of those right now. I just want castable spells. Ooh, that's not bad. And since this also denies mana by reducing the guy's Cradle count by 1, I'm very happy to just do that. Got a Wasteland for my next turn and some other reasonable spells. Ooh. Oh, it's a lot less good when it's just like, a legendary land like Caracas or whatever. Chalice is not bad. I don't know that Chalice is that relevant this game, though. I will just scale up Questing Druids. Sure. I will eat that damage. And then hopefully for turns after this one, I'm just, good. I'm thinking about whether or not I'm getting rid of Gaia's Cradle. I don't think I am, now that my opponent chaliced on 1 and they counter their own lizards. So I think I'm just going to make land drop and ride the horse. I don't know. I can still just Seek the Beast. It's just putting a 1/1 in play otherwise. And we are going to hold this back as a blocker. I guess the Seek the Beast also just adds a power here, right? Because it'll count as a red spell in that case. Ooh, I can Wasteland that instead. Seek the Beast! Which scales up Questing Druid. Meaning I live through that Dismember. My opponent can get an attack in for 4. Which, very much is relevant. That matters. But I don't lose my creature, which also matters. Sure. Force of Vigor and Endurance go away. And Oko. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Cast a Druid. Am I giving my opponent a 3/3? Maybe not right now. Let's Wasteland Bazaar. And I think I'm just going to let these Seek the Beast cards go to exile. Yeah, that's brutal. Alright, I've kept my hand here. My opponent has Serum Powder to hand to draw another hand for free. Okay, sure. Okay, that's another Serum Powder hand. So we are playing against another Bazaar of Baghdad deck. My hand's pretty mid, honestly. My opponent's mulliganing deeply. That's the good news. The other good news is that I can floop a creature into play immediately. I think I am going to choose Dreadhorde. It's a little awkward in that if I feel bad enough, I might have to Force of Will, and if I Force of Will, I don't have Ponder to bring back anymore, which is kind of the plan. You may look at my hand. I'm not stopping that. Alright, there is the Bazaar. Need a refresher. Exile a blue card from hand. Got it. Alright, there's a Squee in Graveyard. So if you haven't played against this before, it's a little obnoxious because Squee and Master of Death can keep coming back from the graveyard to kind of offset the Bazaar downside because it's draw 2, discard 3. A Ragavan. We're probably dashing that. Oh. Yes. I will not shuffle. Will now shuffle. Volk again. Could be Taiga. I think it's just Volk again. I'm gonna go ahead and dash the Ragavan. Send them. We'll get our free Ponder. We're just basically looking for a new blue card. Fantastic. We'll put Force on top. No shuffle. Ragavan's going to give us a treasure that I can use to Ancestral. Master of Death. I'm probably not playing that one. I think I'm just going to Ancestral now. I think I'm just good with that. Force of Negation hits it right now, in theory. Force of Will, pitching Snapback. I am fine. Force of Willing back to just get some new cards. Alright. And then next turn, I can just like flashback the Ancestral with Dreadhorde. And hopefully get Questing Druid scaling up. Like the theoretical plan is 2 mana Questing Druid, 2 mana dash Ragavan, scale this, attack, free Ancestral. And the following turn, just have a disgustingly large Questing Druid. But my opponent scooped it up there. That feels like a slightly early concession, but I was definitely ahead and they might be frustrated from some heavy mulligans. So I probably want like the same subset of cards that I've been looking at. Again, feel kind of weird about so frequently cutting restricted cards, but here we are. Go down a Force of Negation. I think I've been junking the Minsk and Boo. Alright, Leyline's in. Tabernacle's in. Then what? Are these Okos actually good? Like last round, I ended up Okoing something, and then I immediately lost the Oko. May just be that I want to lower my curve and do this. My opponent's deck is a little slower than my previous round opponents, though, so that's something. This is a weird time where I think I can keep a hand with no colored mana source because of Lorien revealed. Alright. Let's Leyline. I don't have a Force of Will to defend it or anything. Alice on 0 is fine. I have no Moxen currently. No Bazaar played out. Understood. Force of Vigor. Weird upkeep pause. Force of Vigor. Yep, that's fine. Sure. I'll play this Wasteland and pass. I'm gonna need another mana source. Maybe multiple mana sources. I'd like to naturally draw one. Well, this is pretty good. This just returns a Vengevine while producing 2 other creatures. Yeah. Finding a Tabernacle would be effing huge here. I'm at 16. And we're gonna grab a volcanic island with this. Tabernacle. Not tabernacle. I'm gonna just naked time walk here, because this allows me to then attempt a preordain for one of the 2 copies of Tabernacle, which I believe will be my best play. Like, this is a lot of onboard power. The Dreadhorde Arcanist is not guaranteed to, like, ride the Dilu Horse into Time Walk next turn. So let's preordain and try to clear the board if possible. Both those cards are very bad. Bottom both. Black Lotus. Fuck! Not what I'm looking for here. And unfortunately, double colorless land right now means that I can't deploy one of these. C'est la vie. The chalice that did nothing became the chalice that did something. Noxious Revival. Okay. Rough. That's another lizard and a squee. My kingdom or a tabernacle. I am at 10. Lorien revealed. This is awkward. I'm trying to decide whether or not I am strip mining that land. If I don't, I can cycle Lorien revealed, find like a... Well, I guess I could like use strip mine, find a trop, play Dreadhorde, give my opponent a turn of bizarre activations, and then attempt to ride the horse into a time walk turn. That is probably good. Let's do that. Ask the Arcanist, pass turn. Life's bad, but I can still see lines that lead to victory, which is the good thing. Sure. Oh, that's double squee now. Sure. I will take 4 damage. Not sure the exact contents of my opponent's hand, but it's possible they're supposed to attack in with all their stuff. Alright. Ride the horse. Gain the horsemanship. How dare you? How dare you? At this point, I block one of these. I take 6, and I am, unfortunately, deterministically dead. Let's just look at some top cards here. Yeah, we were not getting there. The Tabernacle was 3 deep. Time Walk would have gotten me another 1 deeper. Rats. I wonder if I want Minsk and Boo when I'm on the play, as just another way to create a 4/4 creature that can raid / wall hollow 1 type cards. I'm going to say no, but I'm not sure about that. My deck exists in a very strange territory. I think I keep this. I'm not entirely sure whether or not I cast my Preordain on turn 1. Like, I kind of just want to play it after I play Questing Druid, which is a little weird. There's a Serum Powder mulligan. And I think I am just going to... I will probably find something new to do later. Yeah, let's just cast this. Let's bottom one of those lands and take another. Like, despite the fact that I now have 3 lands in my hand, I'm counting Tabernacle as a spell. Sure. There's Vengevine and Master of Death. Oh, that's fine. That dies to Tabernacle just fine. Second Tabernacle. Probably not as good as the first Tabernacle, but, you know, it could get wastelanded immediately. That's a thing. I assume my opponent will lose a life, put that in their hand. Lose Hollow 1. Brainstorm now starting to look pretty good. My Questing Druid, in theory, will also be quite strong. I probably seek the beast first. That's a squee and a Master of Death in graveyard now. Oh yeah, wasteland my tabby. No! That's annoying. That happens. I wouldn't mind it if I didn't also just have the other Tabernacle. The additional land draw there was insult to injury. I would have had like 4 lands in a row there on top of my library then, huh? Rough. I even bottomed one off the Preordain. Sure. Another wasteland. Sure. Am I getting wastelanded off of Volk? Going for the Tabernacle? Are you just waiting to see? We're going for the Volk. That's fine. I am not bottlenecked on mana here. That is not an issue. Like, if I was afraid of my lands getting wastelanded, I would have played Misty the previous turn cycle. And I didn't. Sure. So my opponent can now, like, start netting cards with Bazaar. I'm not sure if my position is actually bad. Weird as that is to say. Go Taiga. No, let's go Volk. Go Volk, drop, play Arcanist, pay for Arcanist, get Questing Druid, then Preordain, start scaling up. That's reasonable. Putting the second body on board is a little weird. It goes to 15 after returning both of those. Sure. Second Bazaar. Holy cow. Wow. Okay, sure. A Fury evoked. That's fine. Like, it's annoying, but like, the Questing Druid is the real prize here, not the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Let's go. Bam. I think preemptively fetch. Taiga for variety. I think I am just going to cast this rather than trying to maximize my value by seeking the beast first. I think I just want to get this on board and start to scale it up. No to those. Bottom. Lorien Revealed is awkward. I don't actually have that many lands left in my deck. Like, I think there's a trop in there that I can find off of this. But that might be about it. Are we taking all of them? Yeah, we're taking all the Master of Deaths. Sure. Alright. 2 of the Master of Deaths go to graveyard. Noxious Revival on Wasteland. Sure. My opponent could Wasteland my Tabernacle, so that they could actually play out some hollow ones. And then, like, surprise, it's another Tabernacle. Everything you always wanted for Christmas. Alright, there's some Root Wallows. Do we have a Vengevine chilling from earlier? We do. Okay, sure. So I will take the 4 damage. Go to 14. There's Hollow One. There's Wasteland. They're going to make me pay for my own card first, which is fine. Pay the 1. This is slightly awkward. My opponent can Wasteland this at end of turn, so I don't get to immediately play a new one. This is very close to being a castable card. Considering my own Tabernacle, though, I don't think I get to cast that this game. Let's just grab a trop, play a trop, pass turn. And we're essentially trying to weather this current turn cycle to end up in a really good place. My opponent goes too hard on Master of Death, I can just bolt them to the face. Like, that is a thing that I can legally do. I think I am potentially going to have to use the bolts to weather the storm here. Like, there's a lot of onboard damage. And, like, there could be more with another Vengevine coming or whatever. Okay, triple Master of Death there. Alright, there's another Lizard. Is fine. That's eating it to Tabernacle. That's fine. That means no Wasteland is happening. Okay, this is the second spell for turn, or the second creature for turn, so an additional Vengevine is not coming back this turn. Fury's rough, because this is 4 damage, and I can only grow this to a 4/4. That's just occurring. Goodbye. So I can use a Lightning Bolt to save 3 life. So this is 4, 8, 9, 10. This would put me to 4, which is a very specific, scary number because of Vengevine. So I think I am going to use 1 Lightning Bolt to save 3 life and just take 6. I was thinking about Force of Willing Lightning Bolt, I think. Alright, take 6. Go to 8. Let's Preordain. There's a Force of Negation, pitching Snap back. Got it. Here's my Tabernacle. I like getting a 5-for-1 off my land. Opponent has returned 2 Master of Deaths, and is not going lower than that. And then all my opponent's creatures die. And they can return a squee. So they are at 5 life, and they also only have 17 cards remaining in library. So, like, there's some fear. Now, my opponent's hand is going to be, very good after they make it through multiple activations of Bazaar of Baghdad. And I still have some dead draws in my deck. Like, I can, top deck a Leyline of the Void, and it would be quite bad. Sure. But Tabernacle means a lot of the past the turn lines are rough. This is very good. We'll attempt a dash. Yeah, I was going to say this is a must Force of Will card. Otherwise, they are down to 3 and a Lightning Bolt is lethal. They might not be able to return Master of Death anymore. I will fire off a Lightning Bolt immediately in response to them paying a single life for a Master of Death. All right, 2 squeeze to hand. They're saying no to Master of Death now. Sure. You're telling me there's a chance. Squee. Sure. And a bunch of counterspells get discarded. Come on, top deck. Well, that's exactly what I talked about a minute ago, right? That was always a possibility. My opponent has 6 cards remaining in library. All right, they return a bunch of squeeze and say no to all the copies of Master of Death. Okay, they're going. All right, there is a Root Walla. That is creature 1. Their goal is to now play a second creature and return the 2 Vengevines from graveyard. Oh god, there's 4 Vengevines in graveyard? That ain't great. If I'm dead to that, I can bolt 1. I can't deal with multiple here. Yeah, the Leyline being a brick costs me this game. And we're dead. GG's. A great game. We tried. Lotus on top, Tarn on top. The top of the deck was not kind to me at the tail end there. All right, final round here. We're gonna do an upkeep Ancestral and see if we can start the game with some extra cards here. Alternatively, this is still just a 2-for-1, right? Our Ancestral trades with Force of Will blue card. We're playing a blue mirror of some kind. I get to just jam Dreadhorde Arcanist on turn 2, or alternatively wasteland my opponent if that seems like a better thing to do. It depends on, does my opponent play power? They have 3 lands in hand right now, so if I can equally set us back on mana, it's probably a good thing for me. Alright, your Gitaxian Probe resolves. Alright, now are you fetching to cast a spell, or are you just leaving that up so you don't get wastelanded in this first turn cycle? Ooh, I haven't seen one of those today. Opponent might be more of the combo direction than the other decks that we have played. Maybe somewhere in that, Tinker PO ballpark. Yeah, another land. I'm not gonna show my opponent that land. And I think I'm just going to put my opponent to the test here. I'm just going to play this, hope they can't combo kill me, and then try to Ancestral next turn. I think that's more powerful than just preordaining without another blue card in my hand. Now we get to play the Mana Crypt game of how much does this card deal to my opponent? Sure. Please don't Ancestral. My poor heart can't take it. Are you in a Vamp Tutor? Mystical Tutor, sure. Am I just getting tinkered? I'm just getting tinkered. My opponent just kind of had everything that lined up in a way against my stuff, right? They had the Force of Will for my Ancestral, they had the fetch land to avoid Wasteland, and the Gitaxian Probe to know to do that. Ooh, they're gonna wait to go with Protection. Or they're just Lotusing. They're Lotusing. So based on this line, their last card is also a 1-mana blue counterspell. Fuck, we are never beating that. Oh, I see. They're going to do it that way. All right. And Time Vault plus a key is infinite turns. I'm going to pause the video here for you all, but I'm going to see how my opponent is actually going to win the game. since I'm not hyper current on vintage. It was currently turn 16. My opponent is now just presenting a win. It looks like they might not actually have any win conditions in their deck other than Urza's Saga tokens. Like, the Time Vault is the thing that, wins them the game, but, like, it's turn 16, and until they hit an Urza Saga, they just could do nothing. So it seems like their deck is highly interactive and, like, really wants to assemble and protect Vault Key, but, like, Urza Saga tokens are it. So I probably want this stuff, and I can probably think about this stuff. My blue spells are probably going to be good this time. Like, it's probably going to become a slogfest in some capacity. My bolts are probably not great. Not actually very good at countering a time vault. Probably go down some amount of this stuff. Not cut, but go down on. This is 4 things to get better at artifacts, and then, sorry, not this. I get 1 of these things immediately. Probably pick Fluster, and then I think about these. It may be that it's correct to just cut the copies of Riding the Dilu Horse, but my opponent's deck is not very good at winning the game. And probably doesn't have a ton of removal. I don't know, maybe the Dreadhorde Arcanist and Ragavans just do enough that I don't need to do the cute thing here. So I don't have blue mana on turn 1, but I can just cycle for it and then have Ancestral from there with Force of Vigor as a free card to break up my opponent's combo or destroy an Urza Saga. This is unexciting, but fine. And we just kind of hope that we don't get vintaged. I'll reset this upkeep stop. Yep. All right, now what you gonna do? Ponder's fine. And no shuffle. We'll go ahead and island cycle. Grab a Volk, probably. Maybe a Trop. Maybe a Trop. Black Lotus. Okay. Now we're talking. So let's go green. Crack this for blue. I play Oko as a bait spell. Nice. Bait successful. Now that Reb is dropped, I Ancestral target me. Fuck. Still got. So now let's find something to do. That's great. Do I take both? No, I think I'll bottom the land and just take this. I don't think the land drops are currently critical. This feels like Force of Vigor time. Again, my opponent's deck is very bad at actually winning the game, and they just expended multiple counterspells, so this is pretty likely to resolve. This is just double Stone Rain. That's worth 2 of my cards. Oh, come on. That's frustrating. Okay, we hit another land anyway. We'll play Arcanist. I can Ancestral next turn, but then I lose this, which is a nuisance. How good is your hand? Also, why is this taking so long? Like, tinker me, I'll probably die. Alright, my opponent found Tinker. So Saga ticks up, I get tinkered on, and I assume my opponent has something here that wins the game. Yeah, that'll do. And Time Walk just happens to be the top card of their fucking deck after randomly shuffling. Sure. Alright, there's a floating mana. Sure. Pithing Needle's fine. That has minimal text against me currently. Ripped. Rain Freeze targeting themselves. Sure. Alright. Ancestral. Alright, Underworld Breach should kill me. My opponent can just Brain Freeze themselves and then combo off in some capacity using Black Lotus. I am just going to concede here to value my own time. I'm not going to math out whether or not I'm dead, but I'm pretty sure I am. So we end up with 50 play points, and we did put some wins on the board with a very ridiculous vintage deck. So while the tail end of that last round was a little frustrating and not all that fun, we did put up some reasonable results with this strategy. But ultimately, this doesn't feel like I'm vintaging. This feels like I'm doing something cool that is legacy power level. And by that, I mean it takes time for you to accumulate your win. And I don't want to accumulate a win in Vintage. I just want to get a win. We don't have that Tinker. We don't have that Vault Key. We just don't have any easy wins. And so all my wins have to involve like grinding these games out and the attack step. Now, I don't wish this on anyone, but in the world where this is legacy legal, like this would be something that would be of appropriate power level for that format. Like it is a very cute interaction. And honestly, I'm surprised I haven't seen this card in legacy before. It's a weird effect. It's an overcosted effect, but it's such a unique thing to permanently make something unblockable and buff it that I'm just surprised no one before has ever been like, oh, I'm going to put this on my Uro and now it's here forever, or I'm going to put this on my infect creature, it's permanently unblockable. Maybe there's a home for it somewhere. I don't know that I have any major pieces of advice for changing the deck list. Like, I made the tweaks that I thought were necessary going into the league, and I felt like I had pretty decent sideboard options, and I felt like the main deck was pretty smooth. It's possible I want the 4th Ragavan. It's also possible that, like, Minskamboo should just be another questing druid, because you want to scale up a creature to something that is larger than Hollow Ones and Vengevines and stuff in this format. I guess Minskamboo can also do that, just at a greater cost. Or I should say a greater cost in a single turn, whereas with Questing Druid you can split it up across multiple turns, and Questing Druid Seek the Beast mode can be used for other purposes. But Toasty, this was like legitimately fun. And thank you very much for submitting this this deck list to the channel. I hope you all enjoyed. Need your copies of Riding the Dilu Horse? Check out Cool Stuff Inc. and use promo code ThrabenU to save 5% on your order. And the deck list is down below to Moxfield if you want to end up trying this out on your own. Folks, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya.